According to the NCAA, nearly 8 million students compete in high school athletics in the United States. The agency also reports that nearly 480,000 athletes compete on the NCAA level, with only a select few going on to compete at the professional or Olympic level. It's estimated that approximately 540,769 athletes in high school compete in men's basketball. The NCAA reports that as of 2020, approximately 18,816 athletes participated in some form of NCAA men's basketball, or just north of 3.5% of high school athletes made the successful jump to NCAA play, and only about 1% of those athletes successfully transitioned to Division I men's basketball play, making it imperative to develop the entire athletes both on and off the court. John Mosley is the head men's basketball coach at East Los Angeles College, and he joined me this week to discuss the evolution of player development in college basketball. I'm Kevin McShann. Let's have this conversation. Hey, Coach, I want to take a few seconds to welcome you to the program, and I'm excited to talk to you about player development this afternoon. So great to see you, and thanks for being here today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, man. Getting a phone call from you to hop on this thing is an honor. Asking me to come on and speak. I know you usually are out there speaking, but you give me a chance to say a few words, so I appreciate it.
Role reversal, that's the fun part for me, right, Coach?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So, Coach, just before we dive into player development, I'm sure you're aware that March is International Women's History Month. So, I'm
Yeah.
curious to get your thoughts on the impact that women have had in athletics, your life, and the role they play in life for all of us.
Oh yeah, well, absolutely. Well, hey, I got three young ladies in my home, so it's been phenomenal. I think I posted something, man. My son gets upset at me because I'm posting all my daughters. I got her out swinging softballs, and I got my youngest, my middle daughter. She's out. I was just with her yesterday. She's working out with a little club team, and she's a high school basketball player and track star. And my youngest is a softball star as a seventh grader. So it's just been, for me, it's normal to make sure that they have the same impact. And uh, I tell a lot of people being single is overrated. So if it wasn't for my wife, I wouldn't be where I am today. So the celebration, it goes on and on beyond this month. The celebration is going to happen next month and the next month, and then our anniversary in July. It continues to go on. We continue to celebrate throughout the year in the Mosley household. So it's International Women Mosley Day every day in the Mosley's household. So, but we're excited that we get to acknowledge our women and the impact that they've had on our lives. It's truly a blessing. The wife that I have is amazing.
Absolutely, and women hold all the empowerment they want each and every day, right, Coach?
Oh, absolutely, man. We all deserve that fair, and God created us all to be equal. So I'm excited that we able to celebrate them, man. It's just amazing. So I celebrate my wife every day. When she calls me, it's a celebration. You know, she's got all this energy and the smiles. When she wakes up, I kind of frown. I'm not a morning person. She's smiling in the morning, man. So I can't help but celebrate what she's done and the impact that she's had in our lives. And what's interesting? I shared just what even Kobe Bryant did and the movement that he had with the Mamba Academy before. My daughter would play in those tournaments and played against Kobe and played against Gigi, and so that hit home for me. But his impact, what he was doing down there, and to raise awareness. So we always knew high school, college women's basketball, but he was really vested in the babies, the baby girls. And so I thought that was amazing that we started to see this uprising of that that's what really hit home when we had the passing of Kobe here in LA.
Absolutely. And uh, just since you brought it up, I'm wondering your thoughts on the impact that Kobe had on the game of basketball as a whole.
Well, our young men, all the guys that you saw on the show, and which and I'll tell you a quick little story to that. But all of the young men, most of them, if not all of them, grew up in Los Angeles, and so they're Kobe Bryant. For me, Magic Johnson. I grew up watching Magic Johnson. Y'all, the Laker fan. We're right here, Laker fans. And then there's an era where I kind of drifted to Michael Jordan, but now the Michael Jordan of their era is Kobe Bryant here in Los Angeles, and so it had a tremendous impact on them. I usually don't cancel practice. I'm like, hey, let's go. We're going 6 days a week. You get one day off, and I cancel practice. It had that. It was that traumatic. It had a major impact. And a quick little story: Coach Rob, who gets the uniforms ready for the guys, he's looking around to see if he can find a number 24 jersey, right? And then he goes through all the bags and all the old jerseys. He finds one, and he's looking like, there's an old Kobe Bryant jersey. So all of the old uniforms, out of all of them, he was able to find enough old uniforms and practice jerseys for every one of our players. It was kind of like divine to wear a jersey, as you've seen in one of the episodes. It was amazing tribute. It was divine. But every one of our players had a jersey to warm up in that had a number 24. So I thought that was impactful, and the guys had a tremendous effect on them.
Hey, Coach, there are very few people that have a transcend impact on sports and life in general, and Kobe was certainly one of them. But when we look at the evolution of player development, why I wanted to have you on today is because when we look at how to develop players, certainly with the advantages and advancement of social media and the social justice issues that transcend athletics today, certainly development of the whole athlete is important. So I'm wondering if you can sort of encapsulate how the development of athletes have changed.
Well, here's my philosophy, and hopefully, we saw it, and I think this show had some impact because this is how I take it. There's so many tools, we can find them all over the place with how to physically develop these young men. I mean, all the information is out there how to physically develop them. For me, what's most important is you will not be able to even get them to the physical aspect unless you know what's going on inside of them. So that we can get the right response from them. So for me, it starts with building a relationship. You can't develop physical or anything else, mental, any of that until you develop a relationship with somebody and you really know what's going on so you can learn how they learn. So you have to learn how they learn and what's going to help them to respond to teaching or criticism. I think that's important because the how you dribble a ball, every coach in the country, I believe, knows how to dribble a ball, or how you shoot the ball. We know how to shoot it, but how you teach it or how you get your student athlete or anybody to respond to the teaching or the development, it's going to be based on, do you have the relationship to get that information to them? And to me, I think that's important. And I think, I don't know if I'm a great X and O guy, like I tell people, but having that discernment and understanding what a player feels and what they need at that moment. And they'll listen to how they shoot a basketball because they trust me. And the reason why they trust me is because I know what's going on in their lives, and they know I have their best interest. And so that's essentially what if you talk about player development. I think that's first.
And certainly when we look at once a college athlete has graduated, less than 1% of them go on to play professionally. So I'm also curious to get your thoughts on the importance of the emphasis of academics as well as the athletics when it comes to developing basketball players.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't want to be a spoiler, but all the guys were, all the guys are having success that were, featured or have, to me, I talk about it. That's one of the first things I introduce them to is say, hey, look, I got 4 degrees. I got an associate, a bachelor's, and 2 master's degrees. And I grew up in this city. I grew up in the hood. So if I can do it, anybody can do it. And I tell them that that's important, that this is just a vehicle to get your education. And if you have the opportunity to play professionally, the biggest thing is for you to be successful in life. And sometimes that means it doesn't mean you're going to win every game. Sometimes it doesn't mean you're going to make it to play professionally. And in most cases, it doesn't happen. I work with a company where I used to go in between basketball years and where I would, kind of reach out and headhunt and help student athletes get jobs. And I'd be rich if I had a penny for everyone who thought they were going to make it professionally until they realized that, hey, I need to find another career path. And the things that, we hope to teach, man, and my passion is to try to teach them that, hey, success is learning how to win in life. You know what I'm saying? Trying to win the now, trying to win your response. Can I win how I respond to adversity? And I think if you carry those tools, how to win your instructors over so that you can get help with assignments and you can eventually pass those classes, how we can win these moments winning now. So yeah, I focus on winning. A lot of people say, don't focus on winning. No, I focus on winning. We're going to win. You're going to wake up in the morning and you're going to win the day. You're going to win your day. And if we continue to learn how to win our day and win moments and win confrontation, or when we have conflict, can we win that moment? Then that's going to carry over in life. And it's not just getting the degree, but now when I get in that corporate office, or if I'm going to be, I don't know, hey, I might want to be a contractor, or I might want to do construction. Even if I decide to do construction, I'm going to be the best. I'm going to win at my construction job, whatever it is. Learning how to respond to adversity, to me, is what I really want to shape and mold out of these guys, is how do we respond to adversity? Because we're going to get that. And you may get a little bit more because you're an African-American male. You may get a little bit more because you're a male or a female or this color or that color or brown or white or Asian, whatever it is, you may get a little more adversity. So how do we respond to that is really the heart of where it's at.
And you had brought this up, so I'm going to follow up with this in terms of making sure that your players know that their opinions matter, and when it comes to society issues, and making sure that they have a voice in the game of life. So I'm wondering your thoughts on the sense of empowerment that you give your players so that they know that their opinions matter.
Well, when the when the listeners when you watch the show, I think the biggest thing that stood out was the response from different players and how they acted out their emotions and how they acted out how they were feeling at the time. And so for me, it wasn't immediately. Sometimes we write that emotion off and we just write it off and say, get him out of here. He doesn't belong here. He can't act this way or act that way. And yeah, although the response that they had was wrong, I understood they needed to express it. Now, it's my responsibility as a leader, as someone who has experience in life, to say, hey, look, I understand. I know what's going on. And I know you need to be emotional. I know you have a message. Let me show you how to get that message across without responding by throwing a chair. Let me show you how to get that message across. And I think those are tools that they'll take later on in life. And that's just my approach. And I know they write off. A lot of people get written off because of stereotypes and different things like that. But my approach is I see me in them. And I know they have something that they're trying to express. They just haven't learned how to express it the proper way. And so that's part of what I'm trying to help them get through.
Absolutely. And I'm also curious to know your thoughts on your role as a mentor and setting a positive example. How seriously do you take that when connecting with your players?
Oh, absolutely. I take it on as I had a moment where I told Deshaun. So I'll just share with you one of my favorite moments that wasn't in the show is we're down in San Diego, and we're in San Diego, and here we are. We're in the vans. We're ready to pull off. We just won a tournament, and we beat two of the top teams in the state. And we're in the vans. We're ready to take off. And I'm looking for Deshaun. I'm saying, where's Deshaun? He's in the back, outside the van, standing, walking around in circles, getting ready to cry. For those who haven't watched the show, I'll spoil it a little bit. One of the stories is his mom passed of stage 4 cancer, so he's dealing with a lot, and that's one of the messages. So I'm walking out, and I get out of the van, and I go to Deshaun, and he kind of is crying. I'm like, oh my goodness, what's going on in this young man's life again? And then he falls over and he hugs me. He says, Coach, I just want to talk with her. I just want to talk with her. And he said he wants to talk with his mom. And so we sat there for about 10 minutes and we cried. And then the message I shared with him was like, hey, you're mine forever. All these guys are mine forever. You know, the responsibility I feel to impact their lives, I'll take it on. And some of them may feel some disappointments, but if I don't take it on, there's not many people that want to take on that responsibility. We ought to just kind of take care of ourselves and make sure we get through. But I'm here to guide them, and that's kind of what I've been called to do. And my ministry is making sure I lead young men. You don't have to believe what I believe. I believe I'm led by my faith in God. You don't have to believe that. But if you need me, my strength, I'm gonna tell you where my strength comes. All my strength comes from the Lord. So if you need me, this is the strength that I'm gonna help you with. So I don't push my faith or anything on anybody, as you can see, but I'm here for you if you need it. And where does that compassion come from? Well, how can you do that, Coach? Well, I try to share the same compassion that Christ had for others.
Absolutely. And I'm curious to get your thoughts on how the pandemic has affected college basketball, specifically during the last year, Coach.
Well, with us, if I have any frustration, Kevin, it's that's the frustration, and it's not COVID in itself. It's just having good leadership to lead us through this pandemic. And so as of date, Kevin, I haven't seen these young men in a year, which is absolutely frustrating. So I'm here in Southern California, which we know is a hotbed for the virus. The numbers have gone down, but just looking for some type of leadership to give us a plan to engage the students. So young men that you've seen on the show that are going through all these different emotions and different things, and they need guidance. I haven't been able to guide them because I haven't been able to see them. It's been a year, and it's hard to do it over Zoom. I wish we could be face to face. It would be a more this is a meaningful conversation, but it'd be even better if we were able to feel each other's energy and be there in the same space. And that's the same thing with the young man or anybody is not being able to engage them and really, be in the same presence. So I'm a little disappointed. I'm a little frustrated, and the frustration is tipping over to anger with leadership. Because at this point, I just don't feel like that I don't feel like it's a safety issue. We want to be safe. We don't want to just return and play sports, but we want to return to engage. I don't care about playing. I want to engage, and so it's affected us. And right now, I just feel like there's some hypocrisy because there's lots of things opening up based on whatever agenda. And for people who really need it, they talk about, hey, we want to help this community. We want to help these students. We want to help that young man. Well, you can help. Don't give us don't give us welfare, man. We don't need any other stimulus check. We need the gym open.
Yeah, Coach, there's nothing that replaces the value of human connection for sure.
Absolutely.
So, Coach, my final question for you in this realm is, when I write the final book of your life, what do you think, if I hired an autobiographer, what do you think the contents of your book of life would consist of, and how would you want to be remembered?
Well, ultimately, my purpose here is is to please God. So I would hope that people saw my life and it maybe planted a seed that can lead them to Christ.
And Coach, you brought it up a couple of times, so I'm going to ask you, if people haven't watched the show that you referred to, tell us the name of it and how they can watch it.
Yeah, you could. It's streaming, man, on Netflix, man, and I'm pretty sure Netflix is all over and all over the world on the platform all over the world. And the show is called Last Chance U, and this is season 6. But the ending title is basketball. So Last Chance U basketball. You guys check it out, man. I've heard from several countries, from the UK to Australia to Brazil to Mexico. I mean, it's all over. Everybody, Canada. I've heard from those up there in the BC. So uh, it's been phenomenal, man. Outpouring of encouragement to say, hey, keep it going. And then I don't know if there's anybody that sent me a message that said they didn't cry. So, or laugh. I think all of the emotions are in there. We got crying. We're talking about grown men. I've seen NBA players tweeting that said, man, I was shedding a tear. So it's emotional. So there's tears. There's beyond laughter, just gut wrenching laughter. There's intense. There's intensity. I'm intense, you know. I was a little embarrassed. I was super intense. I didn't know that I was that intense, but so there's a lot, man. There's passion, there's compassion, there's all the emotions wrapped up in it. I think that's why it's doing so well, because all the emotions are in there. And I'll tell you this, Kevin, it's authentic. I think it's authentic.
And there's nothing wrong with a little authenticity and human emotion, for sure, Coach. And just very quickly, if people want to support your basketball program, what's the best way they can get connected, Coach?
Yeah, you can connect to our website. Just look at our East LA College, kind of Google us, and you can go there, elac.edu, and look up the athletic department. And we got links to that stuff. You can follow me on Twitter at John Mosley Jr. On Twitter, and I got a link tree there that leads directly to our pages. Or you could go to my Instagram at Coach John Mosley underscore ELAC, and that'll lead you to. I have link tree links that'll lead you to everything that you need to get to. Yeah.
Fantastic, Coach. I really enjoyed our conversation about the evolution of player development, emotion, and everything in between. I really want to thank you for being here. I know how busy your schedule is, so I really appreciate a few minutes, and for you being here this afternoon. It's most appreciated.
Absolutely. Thanks, Kev.